It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No. We're gonna watch and listen.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Paranormal True Crimes. How's everybody doing? Hello, Tammy Johnson. Hello, Catherine. Hello, Pamela. Samantha. How's everybody doing tonight? A little depressing case we're going to get ready to cover. Yeah, so we're going to talk about the 11-year-old, Madeline. Kind of sad. What actually happened to her? So, if we recall, the last time that she was seen or seen is when she walked off the school bus. And then she just vanished. She didn't report to school, so the truancy officer was involved with the school counselor. They went to the house. Nobody would answer the door. Well, maybe they weren't home. Okay, we'll give it that, right? So they left a packet of information, no response. So they call. Oh, well, I'll bring Madeline to school tomorrow, and we'll sort all this truancy out. But the mom shows up without Madeline. But the law enforcement agency was not contacted. It's been over 3 weeks. So how does a child go missing for 3 weeks? Now that does not make any sense. So to me, how does it add up? How you doing there? Welcome, welcome. Hey, Russell, welcome to the show. So we're going to cover a couple of little things before we bring the psychics on. And what we've got here, ladies and gentlemen, get my iPad turned back on. It timed out on me so I can monitor the show as well. But we're going to cover the timeline here. So she went missing on November 21st, 2022. This is released by the FBI, right? So on November 20, 2022, according to the arrest record, the mother, the 11-year-old Cornelius girl, that's out of North Carolina, the mother told that she saw Madeline noon on that day. Noon. This is all public record. But don't forget, on November 23rd, her stepfather leaves town. Interesting. So why would somebody leave town? Now, allegedly, they got into an argument. What was that argument over? No, nobody knows because they never did say. That's what's strange, ladies and gentlemen. They never did say, they never disclose or anything. Action.
Is more questions about what exactly happened to Madalena Kojikari. Good evening, I'm Brian Blakely.
And I'm Morgan Francis. Queen City News obtained new information about what happened in the weeks following the 12-year-old's disappearance. Queen City News Northeast Bureau Chief Sydney Heiberger has been following this story since we first learned of it in December.
Sydney, this new info has to do with a backyard fire pit at the Kojikari home.
Yeah, Brian, that's right. When we first went to the Kojikari home, all the way back in December, when she was first reported missing, neighbors had told us that they had seen Madalena's mother, Diana, and her stepfather, Christopher, burning things in their backyard. Well, just this week on Tuesday, the police chief in Cornelius confirmed that they were called to the Kojikari home in reference to Diana burning furniture. And a new police report reveals exactly when that happened. April 11th marked Madalena Kojikari's 12th birthday, and also the day Cornelius Police Chief David Balcom told us this.
There were reports of burning furniture in the Kojikari backyard before Madalena's disappearance. Is there evidence of that happening? Yes, there was one call for service in reference to Diana Kojikari burning
Burning what?
items before Madalena was reported missing.
According to a newly obtained police report, Cornelius first responders were called to the Kojikari home on November 30th around 5:25 in the afternoon in reference to a small fire burning between this address and the car wash. November 30th is 9 days after Madalena was last seen getting off her school bus and 15 days before Diana Kojikari reported her missing to a school resource officer at Bailey Middle School.
Everybody misses her a lot and she deserves everything.
Though neighbors didn't want to go on camera, several told us they had seen smoke coming from the Kojikari backyard on multiple occasions. We visited the Kojikari home Thursday, and in addition to finding birthday flowers, cards, and gifts left on their front porch, we also saw a fire pit in their backyard.
Our hope is that the public will continue to share Madalena's story and pictures as we continue to investigate this case.
Yeah, it's important to note police have not specifically said that this backyard burning incident is in any way connected to Madalena's disappearance, but they have said that they firmly believe someone out there knows more about what happened to Madalena, and they are encouraging anyone who has information to come forward to the police department. I'm live in Cornelia. Sydney Heiberger, Queen City News.
You're damn right somebody knows what's going on. You're damn right. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Let me turn some of this off here in the background. Everything is going through my headphones that you all can't hear. Let me, Mom and Dad, Stepdad out in the backyard burning. What are they burning? They're burning evidence, ladies and gentlemen. That's what they're burning. Why else would they be in the backyard burning furniture or other items? To conceal the elements of the crime. And that is beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, I don't care how you paint this picture, ladies and gentlemen. I am not insane. I am not crazy. But who in the right mind would have a child missing? Hey, Bob, you want to have a bonfire at night? Yeah, sounds good, Susie. What we're gonna catch on fire? I don't know. Let's go get some of the small furniture. Are you freaking crazy? And then on top of that, they didn't report nothing to anybody at all over 3 weeks about this child's disappearance. To nobody. Now, what is wrong with that picture, ladies and gentlemen? The only reason that it came out that she was missing is because the school resource officer in the school was like, hey, your child's not been in school. You got some issues. Now, like I said on the last show, ladies and gentlemen, when a child does not go to school, we have emails, the parents, guardians get notified. We get phone calls that you get notified that your child is absentee from school. We get texts on our cell phones because we all sign up for it. So there are other things and methods to notify us as parents or legal guardians when our child plays hooky or does not show up from school for whatever reason. So we are aware of it. But for over 3 weeks, so ladies and gentlemen, that is what they got charged with. For failure to report the missing of Madeline. That's the only charge they come up with. Now, unfortunately, I did not look up the state statute with tampering with physical evidence because at this point, you know, was it evidence that they destroyed? We don't know because they don't have a body. They have no freaking clue what's going on because over 3 weeks have actually elapsed. Now, on the other show prior, what, you know, I always tell people, everything is public information, police reports, and so forth. Now, they are obtainable. You go down there and fill out a public information release form, right? You will get a copy of the police report. Now, however, whatever is in that police report that they do not want the public to see, they redact it. Just like the government does, they block it out. So whatever items that they confiscated from that house that they have listed, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we do sure appreciate. It's all in black. The numbers are not, but the items and articles are, because that could taint the case in future proceedings if anybody is found guilty in a court of law. Now, which brings us up to something else. Anybody on this show is proven innocent until proven in a court and guilty in a court of law, right? And unfortunately, we also have to say that with everybody coming on the show, this is for entertainment purposes only. So now that's out of the way. But yes, so there's a lot of things that don't add up. Thank you. That's exactly what I said. But, you know, they're the mom and stepdad, they're not ignorant. But I can tell you this. I guarantee you, if there is foul play, I believe the statute in most states, you can go back and charge them with tampering physical evidence. Yes, Mr. Science Bob. Hello, Tess. Welcome to the show, Crazy Witch. So this is interesting. Over 3 weeks. So neither the stepdad, well, I was kind of concerned in a way because I didn't know where she was at. I'm kind of concerned. No, I don't think you were kind of concerned at all, Jacko. Because if you was, the first thing I would have been, if whether I was fighting with my significant other or not, where is Madeline? What do you mean you haven't seen her? I'm calling the authorities. The hell with you. So I don't know what happened. So now what I did after the last show is I took the picture of Madeline and I submitted it to the panel and asked them to look at it. Science Bob, the average charge or subpoenaed. What do you mean, Science Bob, average charge subpoenaed? Elaborate. Hello, Kelly. Welcome to the show. All that is obstructing justice. Well, you know, obstructing justice is very simple to do, or hindering, you know. So the problem is, Science Bob, is we don't know what they actually said to law enforcement officers. So tampering evidence has to be charged for or subpoena. You don't have to be subpoenaed to be tampering with physical evidence. No, absolutely not. You do not. So I have to look up that state statute. Maybe I'm wrong, but in most states you don't have to be subpoenaed to be charged with tampering with physical evidence. So Crazy Witch, welcome. So first up on the block, we have Kat. Kat, welcome to the show. I'll get your composure here. Well, hello,
Howdy.
how are you doing?
Hi, everyone.
Let's
How
play
you
some
guys?
Hollywood squares here.
Right,
All right, introduce yourself and tell everybody how you're doing and what you do and how you do.
well, I'm Kath. I like to douse. I do other things, Reiki and find stones and things like that, but I like to dowse. This case, will I let rip?
Let it rip.
Righto. This is the first time, like, I received a photo. That's all I received last week, the same with everybody else. I printed it out, and the first time I touched it was really unusual. I got this vision of the top of a head from here up, and it swiveled around like a mannequin. It was a male, really pale, had a prominent like haircut, so it was like straight across down. But as the like mannequin type head twisted, it was showing like this. It looked normal at the front. It looked like a really nice spick haircut. Then when you turned it around to the side, it was shaved, and then the head turned right to the back and showed a V, like a hair. The hair was like shaved in a V down the back. I've never had that kind of instance that suddenly like that, so I don't know what that is. It may be a clue. Then I felt she was so sad, the poor little girl. I call her Mellow Yellow Girl because I don't know her name as yet. It feels to me like she'd been hurt and couldn't tell anyone about it. I don't know. There seems to be two parts to this. And then there seems to be a break. But she, from what I could feel, she felt she couldn't tell anyone what had happened, which was making her even more miserable. And it feels like whatever had happened was not pleasant at all. That word that we're not allowed to say.
Right. S-T.
S-A?
S as in Sam, T as in Tom.
Yep. No T, but just A.
Oh, okay.
So then I started going further through it. I realized, she's a female. This is where I'm getting stuck. I have she's found, and there are other things through that made me come back again and then re-question. There's two parts, I find. I'm sorry, but I feel she's passed. She was hurt against her will. She was forced and threatened. The media seems to be presently involved. The family seem to be assisting. There doesn't seem to be any lie detecting done.
You mean polygraph administered?
Yeah.
Okay. She's from Australia, ladies and gentlemen, so her lingo is a little bit different.
Yeah, sorry, I've got the terrible Australian accent too. Anyway, there appears to be corruption involved with the P. There seems to be money involved and data change of some kind. I got that she's been missing or not found, for 2 or more months. Female, 10 to 20 years old, brown hair, brown eyes, large black pupils. I found interesting. That to me indicates a lot of trauma. Brown skin, 0 to 5 foot, wore jewelry. She seems to have a neck and body injury. This is the first part of this. This is what mucked me up to make me come back. But no SA at this moment in time that I was checking this out. They seem to be previous injuries. There were drugs involved. It seems like there was an overdose. Who was there at the time, there was one male, and MY, Mellow Yellow Baby Girl. There were no kind of laptops or anything in the vicinity. How? By hand and a vehicle involved. I've got how many were causing the injury, which is 2, which comes back to the other bloke plus a Mellow Yellow Girl. It appears to be an accident. The perp seems to be connected to family and friends. There's no connection to any larger groups. Then I've got, this got me stuck as well. Is he a family member? No. Is he a family friend? Yes. Is he one of Mai's friend? No. So that brought me back later on. If she was taken, how was she taken? I've got a vehicle. But is the vehicle stationary at the time? Yes. I don't see any movement from there on. There seems to be two parts. This is the second part, I feel. Was the victim drugged? She had drugs. So then I tried to investigate what kind of drugs. It took me a bit of doing on this one. It appeared to be a solid. So then, as opposed to fluids, gases, needles, and things. So then I went down into what? There was the fentanyl and that other one they're all using, the ketamine, is it?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. And it seemed to be a pill. There are no animals involved. I went back when I found this business about the pills and that, and I asked, did Mai take the drug? Yes. Was she suicidal? Yes. Did she take the drug by herself? Yes. Was she in the vehicle at the time of digesting the drug? Yes. Was she in the vehicle when she passed over? Yes. Did Mai attempt suicide at this moment in time? No. She was not suicidal. She was just miserable and from whatever had gone down previously. It feels like there was a gap of a couple of weeks or something, a month maybe, between part one and part two. Then I've got there was no movement from this vehicle. There was no transport. This threw me a curve. Is the vehicle a car? Yes. What color? It's blue, red, green, silver. It's pretty leery by the sounds of it. There's no writing on the vehicle. Is the vehicle registered to the man that was in the car? No. Is it borrowed? Yes. Did the man leave her in the car? Yes. Did he become ill too? Yes. Which is interesting because further down when I'm searching, I asked for his physical feelings and that at the time. He's vomiting and running, and I'll get onto that. Did he run away once Mai became ill? Yes. Was Mai alive when he ran? No. Have the police questioned this man? Yes. Did he have an alibi recorded? No. Connections with the force? Yes. Do the police know he's guilty? No. Okay. Then I'm getting down into the more gritty. I've come back to that haircut, and I've said, is the V haircut a clue? Yes. Did the victim, sorry everybody, I don't mean to be hard and horrible. Did she pass away quickly? This is how this has thrown me too. I've got she's been found. Then I've got where, and it says the resident, she was outside her current lodgings. Was a vehicle parked near her current lodgings? Yes. Then I tried to figure out who's this, what kind of friend, like who's he a friend of? It took a lot of finding that out. I asked, was he a friend of my mum, dad, sister, brother, auntie, uncle, grandparents? Turns out cousin, friends of a cousin. They were on public land at the time in this car. Then I get down into the perp. Lives close by, family ties, regular visitor to the area, mental illness, drugs, uses drugs. Is the family of, is he a family member? Not really, not an immediate family member. Black hair, brown eyes, large, 6 foot above. He's got really pale skin, which made me think I don't know, maybe a person that works inside all the time, like an accountant or IT type. He's got a limp, apparently. There's watches, phones, laptops, and wallets to do with him. I've got he's an accountant, some sort of accountant. He works in a small corporate company and he's currently working. He's still alive. Did they know the pills? Like, did they know what they were taking? No. Is he a dealer? No. Had they taken pills together before? No. Did he feel bad about his previous forceful abuse? Yes. Did they have a pact? Because I was worried that, about the suicide side of things. No pact. Did they think the pills were something else? Yes. Was he a regular drug user? No. Is he known to the government? No. Served time? No. On parole? No. No escaped prisoner? No. The perp's vehicle? Car. This is interesting. How did the perpetrator feel at the time? Mentally unstable, drugged, sad, in full control though, unplanned, regretful. He was shocked. He went into some sort of shock, and then he started vomiting. This is from what I can feel and see. So to summarize it, because it got a bit messy because it felt like there were two parts and a big gap, and it didn't make sense that the vehicle didn't move and there was no transportation. So I did go into autopsies to find out, because I didn't know if she'd been found or not. So I went to autopsies to see what was going on there, and found that there had been an autopsy done, saying that it was suicide, which it wasn't. It did mention the overdose, but yeah, to me, I'll read the summary, and then to me it feels like she lost her identity in that car, was either taken somewhere else and to a morgue as a Jane Doe or something, and that's where she lost her identity. I can't find any movement from that vehicle. I feel she was assaulted by this bloke, and was kind of perpetrated to victim behavior, so that she seemed to have stayed with this guy. That she couldn't tell her parents what had happened, and it was typical victim to perpetrator behavior from what I can feel, that she just hung with this person because she didn't know what to do. She's 11 years old or whatever. She's only young. She couldn't tell her parents because she knew they were family members. But someone further up has instigated something from that car not moving, is my feeling. Anyway, I'll read you quickly the summary. A cousin relative had previously met Mai and forced himself upon her. He became regretful and organised to meet Mai again. He shared the pills. He brought them. He had intentions of doing something. He knew she was scared and super sad. He was sad and guilty also. He thought they would have fun and move on. It was related to family and law contacts. He was worried. They had a pill each by the sounds. Mai OD'd. He became ill and took off, leaving Mai in the car. The vehicle appears to have not moved, thus implying this is where they had the pills, and I was given no information or suggestion of transportation. Mai's miserable at the time, obviously seeing him again, being reminded of what he did and all the consequences she's suffering. Like, that word is something you don't just get over, in a couple of weeks. It appears she willingly took the pill. She just wanted to forget. She didn't want to suicide. She just didn't want to think. Most victims that this occurs to are exactly the same. You just don't want to think. So you'll do anything not to think. And this is what appears to be going on with my information or my research that I've come out with. I found it interesting that if the autopsy exists, that they put it down as suicide, because it was definitely not an accident. Like that seemed like the two of them weren't experienced as far as these pills went. It was a shock to him as well because he seemed to be vomiting everywhere, and then he took off. I don't know. I feel the perpetrator is going to get worse. I think it really spun him out 100% that what he did to the poor little girl, and now he's packing it. But the fact that things have been kind of sorted for him, I don't think his mental stability is going to hang on. I think he's going to flip. He just seems weak. But that's about all I could get. I have two parts, and the sadness, like this poor little girl, she's seen too much, way too much, too soon, and sorry, this one too upsetting.
That's all right. That's all right. I appreciate it. Stand by. And Lola, you're up next. Thank you, Kat.
Sorry.
We'll bring you right back. Hello, Lola. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm good. Sorry, I'm glitter. I was face painting. Sorry.
That's all right. Introduce yourself and tell everybody all about you.
I am Lala. I'm a psychic medium. I speak to people who have passed and other beings. So what she got, I got a lot of also. Some of it's a little different. But can I read what I wrote down? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. My throat felt tight, so she was either strangled or choked for whatever reason. They kept saying border, but it didn't feel like a border. And so there's a place on 95 called South of the Border. It's a tourist place, and it runs for a long time. I kept getting a Christian, but I guess seeing now the stepdad's name was a Chris something. So and the stepdad kept saying that. So I think he played a big part in it. There was drugs, definitely. And they said hush money. I don't really understand that, but I think it's a ring of maybe a small ring, but I think they use kids, and she was one of them. She saw a lot of chaos at home with the parents, and she was hurt in different ways at home too. They said pond, water, church, crypt. And when she would talk, it would sound like it echoed. And it was dark. And it felt like a container with a little slit to see through. So I don't know what she was trying to say, but it did echo. I saw, they said bus. And when she was looking through the little slit, I could see feet walking around and a man on the phone worrying about what happened to her, about what he did. And they were trying to decide where to put her. So I think she was showing me after she had passed already. So maybe she was laying on the floor, and that's why I saw feet. But I think, in my opinion, I think the stepdad did it, and he had a friend.
Okay. Interesting. All right. Stand by, and thank you, and bring you right back here in a moment. Brian from Canada, he's up. Brian, how you doing, kind sir? Welcome to the show. How are you doing there, sir?
Greetings, my friend.
Introduce yourself. Tell everybody all about yourself.
Okay, I'm Brian Whelan, as Grizzly said, from Canada. I'm an empath medium and that. And when Grizzly sent me the photo of the little girl and that, I got a few snippets of what she went through. And even after listening to Lola and Kath, I was still getting little bits and pieces in that. And unfortunately, with the little girl, I agree with both of them that she's left the physical body, unfortunately, and that the first thing I got when I saw the photo was it was school related, and I wasn't sure if it was going to school or coming home. I wasn't sure, and that. But when I found out she'd just come off the school bus, and then now it comes to her so-called parents, and that. When I heard about the stepdad, I thought, okay, well then the biological father probably passed that, but I felt heavy confliction between not just between the little girl and the mother, but confliction between the 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 wife and the stepdad as well, and that like there's a lot of confliction, they're always arguing about something in that, and I agree that it has to do with definitely drugs, alcohol. Some people actually consider this mother, and that a lot of people actually deemed her as an unfit mother. Like she was more interested in life's vices than she was about any family, and that. And as far as she's concerned, the girl's just in the way, and that. So they had to come up with this elaborate plan to make the girl literally disappear, which unfortunately, they did a lot of planning to do so, but they made a lot of errors along the way. As Grizzly said, that they're burning stuff in the backyard. Well, they're trying to make her basically disappear. No evidence of her ever being there. But I feel that they're very sloppy about that, and there could have been some eyewitnesses of them doing this backyard burning, which in my opinion was extremely stupid, and that. And now when it comes to the stepfather, and that he did a lot of the planning, but he got friends of his. It wasn't him. He got friends of his to abduct the little girl off the bus. I did get there was two males, one older, one younger. The younger one was still in the car, I feel. The older one was the one that grabbed her, but he didn't say a word until after she got into the car. And she kept saying, "Who are you? Where are you taking me?" They said as very little as possible. They just said, shut up and you'll be fine. And that. And she just kept ranting on. And finally, I did see them give her it looked like a pill or something. And that. And they said, "Here, take this. It'll make you feel better. It'll calm you down. If you take this, it'll take you back. It'll take you back home." Well, she took it unwillingly. Oh, and by the way, the funny part is that when the little girl saw this big guy, she thought, "I've seen him somewhere, but I can't place him." That kind of thing. Like it could have been a friend of the father or whatever. I wasn't get that too strong. But naturally, as soon as but I don't know. I don't feel that the tablet it might contribute towards her passing, but these two guys weren't satisfied with how if she had actually passed or not. So as the last lady mentioned, I did get strangulation to make sure that she was gone, unfortunately, and but I did get that. At first, I saw her on the floor in a small room or something. Then I saw her outside, outside, and that very close to a wooded area, very close to a I don't know, the country road or something, and that very crudely just put down, covered with leaves, stuff like that. They said they wanted to do this extra fast and get out of there, and that. But luckily, I do feel that found, and that. And by the way, I'll do what I can to make sure that her soul or spirit does cross over to the higher side of life. Okay, my guide will take care of that. So she's not trapped. Her spirit isn't trapped down here. That she will be collected by her loved ones. That I'll see about taking care of that.
Okay.
But the mother and the stepfather, they've been planning this for quite a while. And like I said, when it came to the mother, that many people who I wasn't getting, many people actually would have deemed this lady as an unfit mother because of her mentality, and that like all she could think of was just life's vices, and that's it, and that. But they were thinking of relocating afterwards, going somewhere else, until they say until the heat was off of them or whatever. But I'm not sure if they actually made it that far, but that's what their goal was to basically get rid of the child, and they can do something else. But that's basically unfortunately all I really got from the photo, unfortunately. And so I hope this helped just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I appreciate it, Brian. Brian, stand by. Clayton, you'll be right up next, Clayton, as soon as we come back. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Paranormal True Crimes. We have Clayton is with us. How you doing, Clayton? Can you hear me? Hello, Clayton. You're live.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing wonderful. Glad to have you on the show. If you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are.
I'm Adrian. I do crystal healing and Reiki, and I'm new into the mediumship part of it. So mine might be a little bit different than the others we've had on. From what I'm seeing on this is I'm getting, if she's gone, I'm going to say if, because what I'm getting is from her living part of it.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Right.
The first thing I saw when I got the picture, and that's all I've gotten. I've got no history. I've got nothing else.
Bluetooth
the number 23. Right. Like either the person that took her or the person she's with is 23. Why I don't know. I get that she loved music and dancing. She was a dreamer. She was like acting, trying to be older than her age because she was trying to grow up too fast. There toward the end, when she went missing, she became withdrawn from her family, like whether it was intentional or something had happened. She withdrew. And I feel like she was talking to someone that maybe was older and promised her things that she couldn't get at home. like she went with someone that, well, didn't have her best intentions at heart. But what I'm getting, she is her live part of her. I feel like she's still living.
Okay.
I'm getting that the name Priscilla. I don't know what that means to anyone, but that's just the name that came through. Maybe a road she lived on, maybe somebody she was friends with, somebody that knows something. I don't know. I got this picture of water. It was like, I can't see this side of it, but I could see across the water, and it's not very far. It's like a pond. And there's cattails and tall grass. And then there's flat stone. And as you go down, it's not steep, but as you go down, there's round rocks and then the water, and there's a tree to the right. Maybe it's a place she loved. I don't know. Or maybe that's where she is. But there's a male prominent presence. There's a fuzzy blanket, and it has bright colors. It's like orange, black, and maybe some white in it. But that blanket is either with her or means a lot to her. There's gemstone. I don't know if she carried a gemstone, if she was into gemstones, or maybe a ring or a necklace that she had. But that is a key piece to something. I don't know what, but it is something. I get that she's either starving or sick. The word pestilence, just like she's either really sick or she's starving or something is going on. Those all just came like all at one time. But sure. I feel like she's alive. That's not a popular opinion, but I feel like she's living.
No, there's, here's how we do things, ladies and gentlemen. So we take everything as a totality, as a whole. So people pick up on different energies, and people can pick up on whether she is here or whether she is on the other side. And at the end, everything will probably come together as a whole, and we'll wait and see how it all comes together. So there is no right or wrong. So people see things in different ways. And I learned this through my journey with dealing with people with abilities. So that's you're hitting on a lot of key elements. I assure you of that. So you're on the right path. Absolutely. So yeah, if you stand by, I'm gonna break Craig on, and you'll see how everything comes together, Adrian. So good job. Yes, ma'am. Stand by. And Craig, how you doing there, sir? Welcome to the show. How you been?
I've been great. How are you?
Doing great. Great. So yes.
So let's jump right in here. She is passed. I feel it was she was at school or something, or coming home from school, or something along those lines. I believe she was picked up in her neighborhood. The parents, they know more than what they're saying. It's like they didn't care. Sorry, I'm just...
no, you're fine.
Okay. So... sorry. Jesse! So... okay, let's go back. So went missing around her neighborhood. I don't know if it's coming home from school or leaving school, coming home. The kid knew one of the abductees, I'm going to say abducted.
Okay.
I believe she knew one of them, which made it easier to get her in that car. I believe the parents know, again, more than what they're saying. I think the police are on the right track. There is, they have to look at either communication out of state. I don't believe she's in her home state or died in her home state. I believe she was taken out of state for sex trafficking. Or at least that's where it was leading to. I think it was there was abuse. I'm sorry to say, for the parents or for anybody that loved this child. I don't feel she really had proper care, or I don't know if the parents had previous issues. Definitely drugs, alcohol for the parents. And that could have been maybe selling drugs. I don't know if that's where the little girl recognized that person. So she sort of felt comfortable because she had seen him before. I don't think it was long before the girl passed. I'm going to say around 2 weeks, 3 weeks. After the disappearance that she ceased, I believe she died of drugs, like an overdose. I think by them trying to drug her, they were trying to, I don't know, soften the screams. Again, I'm sorry coming across this way, but I'm only saying what
right, I understand
what comes. She was sexually assaulted previous to her death. And I'm going to say overdose. It was the easiest way to kind of shut her up in a way. And I think the girl was just too tiny to deal with the amount of drugs that she was given. I feel I need to go to the parents. So I'm going to say mother and stepfather definitely have a history with the police department and maybe child services. There definitely was drugs in that home. I would love to be able to see her house, just to see what we pick up from that. She almost was happy to get to school. the girl was happy to have that reprieve from the chaos of her home. Like between the two parents, I'd almost say, well, they're both really screwed up here. But I think this is perpetrated from the mom's side more than the stepfather's side. They need to look at communication, either phone records or something like that. I believe there is a record of these communications.
There's the house.
Thank you. I'm minus seeing a school bus here. Is that her bedroom in the middle? I guess we don't know this, do we?
That I don't know.
Because I almost see apparition there. It's really hard to tell from the picture here. Anyways, I know it makes you wonder, eh?
Yeah, it does,
right there, top floor in the middle. I see a little girl in that smaller window. Is there an aunt or a family member out of state that was even harder into the drug scene? Is what I'm kind of picturing here. And I don't think the parents knew what to do.
I can elaborate that once I get to the next two, yes.
Okay.
You're on the right path, correct.
Okay, good enough. So, and that's out of state, right?
This case is, yes.
Is that out of state?
Yes.
Okay.
Where the case happened, it's not in my state. That is correct.
No, I mean, the state that she lived in and possibly the person or persons that the mother was talking to live out of state.
They have no idea at this point. It's still wide open.
Okay. Well, she's not in her state. That was the easiest way for them to get rid of her, was to get her out of that state. And I do believe it's a sex trafficking ring. But I don't think this is a normal abduction for sex trafficking, where they just saw a kid, grabbed it, threw him in the car, and took off. I see there's a little more planning to this. It's sickening. But the parents know. I don't know if it's almost like his parents didn't even report her missing. Like almost hoping that it would sweep under the rug, so to speak.
So, see, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we do not let the people with abilities in on any information on the cases. So, yes, that is. She was not reported at all for some time.
At all.
That is correct.
That's disgusting. So there's no doubt that then the parents are involved in the disappearance. The girl is again deceased. I do see her in almost like a swampy wetlands type area, somewhere where no one's going, just because it would be, you'd be full of shit, so to speak. So no one would go out there, period.
Right.
And the decomposition of the body would be quick due to the mud and the vegetation. I wouldn't say lots of trees. I would say like those bull whips. We call them bull whips. Sort of like cotton comes out of them. They're like a
cattail.
Cattails. There you go. So lots of cattails in that area, and small vegetation, brush.
Okay.
It's going to be extremely hard to find her. I don't think that that's actually going to happen. So definitely drugs involved, definitely parents, definitely out of state, definitely past, definitely sex trafficking.
Yeah, so anytime we refer to ST, what you're saying, we have to call it Sam Tom ST because we'll get flagged, and also SA for the other one because we will get flagged on that too. And so just a little friendly reminder because they are so strict now lately.
Okay, no problem.
But that is a lot of information. Now stand by because a lot of this is going to come to a head. Okay.
Awesome.
That's a lot of information. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Kelly Joe. Kelly Joe. Here we go. You're up.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm
Introduce
good.
yourself.
I'm good. Yes.
Angela Ford, you're next. Angela, I got you.
Well, I feel like there was a man and a woman involved with this little girl.
Okay.
I believe that there was, we're not allowed to say the issues, but there was the issues.
Right. Now you can say Sam Tom, for the
Sam
initials
and
of it.
Tom, okay.
Right. You can say STs, but yes, but.
And I believe she was, they gave her a pill. I do see that. It was like I don't know drugs, but it's the new kind of, it looked like a piece of candy. I guess it was maybe the ones that have the bad stuff. What is it? The stuff that kills you real quick.
You talking about the fentanyl waste?
Yeah. Yeah. It looked like a candy.
Right.
And she took that, and I feel like she did die of an overdose, but I also get that she was strangled. I see a man with brown hair, brown eyes, 5'11", and he did stuff. And then there was a woman with brown hair, bangs, and brown eyes, and she was like 5'3". And then there's a white beater car, like a sedan, like an older models that's like in the 90s, that's boxy. And it had 4 doors. And she feels like she's by a lake in the reeds and the cattails.
Okay.
So she does feel like she's passed away. But she was running up and down my hallway sobbing when I was working on the case. She came to me at night. She was all wet. She left wet footprints in my hallway.
Oh.
So, and I told her she could go to the light. But I know she's in water because she left wet footprints on in my hallway.
That's
so, and then she has a bad home environment. The parents don't pay no attention to nothing, and she felt totally ignored. And being a teeny bopper, she's going through all the teeny bopper stuff, and so it all compounded everything, and she felt trapped. But I feel like she's in the same state. I know other people said that they think she's in another state, but I feel like she's by a state park or something where she lives. It feels like a state park area to me.
Okay.
And that's what I got.
Okay. All right. Stand by there. Greatly appreciate that. Stand by. And next up, Angela Ford. Welcome to the show here, darling.
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm okay. How's everybody doing?
Doing fine. Thank you for your patience.
I feel that there was a male and female responsible for the young girl's death. And one of them was her mother, but her mother had a boyfriend. Was her mother separated or divorced from her father?
So here's, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. So basically, since you're the last one, I don't know if she was married to the stepdad or not, but evidently she may possibly be. They're very tight-lipped about this case because it's not adding up. For everybody that doesn't know Angela, explain to them who you are and what you've done for the United States government and so forth.
I worked for intelligence. I worked for the Defense Intelligence Agency, and I was a psychic for them for 9 years. They called us remote viewers, and I had to help find hostages. I also did some work with I had to find weapons of mass destruction. And at that time, it was before the Cold War. So we had a lot of sessions where we had to work and see what the Soviet Union was doing as far as making weapons.
Okay. So, yeah. So
I'm picking up. Okay, I'm picking up the female with her partner, and I don't think it was the young girl's real father. But there was something, I feel there was a mistake. Somehow, I don't know, and I feel it was the male's part. I don't know what happened, but I do feel part of it was strangulation. I feel like she was strangled. I feel it could have been an accident that they had to hide. And then I feel the mother got involved. I feel the girl was, she was a nice girl. I feel like she needed more attention. She needed more love, but there was something off with the mother and the father. They may have been using drugs. It's a shame. I feel like the young girl is dead, and that I do feel that they may have moved her body to another state, maybe on the border with whatever state she lived in. But the mother and the partner feel like they're being very smart about this, but they're not as smart as what they think they're going to be. And this was awful. This young girl, she was very bright. I feel like she was very smart.
Yes. So it's a very sad case. Basically, and I'm going to pop everybody in with you. Basically, what happened is that she came home from school, and she got off the school bus, and that's the last time they saw Madeline. And I'll bring up the timeline, and I'm going to go over the timeline because this is going to probably resonate with some of you all. Let's see here, Madeline, because we covered this on the last show. Madeline, I can never spell the last name. OCO timeline here. But if you all noticed on the similarities across the board, it's very similar, right? So, and this is where we look at things as a totality, and we get COJ. Here we go. Timeline. Here we go. Timeline. And I'm going to read this, and I will also display this for the audience as well. This way they can also see it as I'm reading it. Let me bring this up. And let's see here. All right. Throw this up on another screen here. Bring up iPad out of the way. And let's see here. Well, it didn't work.
Oops.
Let me click it again here, ladies and gentlemen. I do apologize. Usually I have it have everything spooled up for everybody. Let me close some browsers out. Let me try one more time. I apologize. Bear with me here. So one thing I will show as I'm bringing this up is I will show the picture of the mother and the stepfather. And if y'all get any more information, feel free. It should pop up, and it's not popping. There we go. And this way I'll get the timeline.
Yeesh.
Do you have a pic of both?
So what happened is they actually came back to the house, and don't quote me this, but they came back to the house and it was on a traffic stop, and something wasn't adding right, so they brought a canine, and they got a canine hit, and the mother was actually arrested for narcotics. They got a hit, and the mother was arrested for narcotics. They found narcotics inside the vehicle.
Wow.
And she was arrested previously for narcotics
Wow.
trafficking. So there was narcotics trafficking charges. I don't know if it was on both or one. So yes, so you all did pick that up. So there was some concern about that, the police department, I do want to say and commend them of how they actually handled the case because they did everything by the book. Very impressed with that because it's kind of hard. Let's see, let me mute my phone here. Sorry. Because, mistakes can happen very easily. But even though that the canine got a hit, they did not need a search warrant to search the car because since the canine had a hit, that was enough probable cause in most states to search a vehicle. But because of the missing child, they did the right thing. Whoever was in charge at the time got a search warrant just in case if they found evidence related to the child that could tie the parents or the mother and the stepfather back to the child, which was a good call. But I don't think they actually did from the court records and everything that I saw. So here's the timeline that's coming up, and I will also play this video here for you guys, and if you can hear the audio on here, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't know if I hit the audio button or not once it starts playing.
Hmm? Oh, absolutely.
You look pretty scared getting off that bus.
My whole body just shivers.
I don't know why it's buffering. Just bear with it for a second, ladies and gentlemen.
That stepfather was very abusive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I believe that the little girl, Madison, definitely missed a lot of school.
Let's see if I can make it a little smaller. For some reason, it's timing out. That's unusual because I got it on a different monitor.
They sure portray this richness. But they don't suit what you're seeing. Is this?
Poor little kid.
Well, we'll try shrinking it a little bit.
Feels
I do
like
apologize,
old
ladies.
money.
We'll give it a couple more
So-
seconds, if not. Like it's buffering. I don't know why it's buffering because I'm on high speed. All right. Well, so let me go through the time here. So on November 21st, let me pause the video because if not, it's gonna try to play. So on November 21st, 2022, this is appeared to be the last day of Madeline's was at school, according to what Mrs. D. Lampkin, who is the 6th grade counselor at Bailey Middle School in North Carolina, told authorities. The video was later released by the FBI on December 20th, confirms her leaving the school bus. That's what we just saw. On November 22nd, this is where we start getting conflicting dates. According to the arrest record, the mother, which we just showed the video or the picture of, missing 11-year-old Madeline, Diana, told police she last saw Madeline noon that day. Now wait a minute. She got off the bus at 4:59 per the video. So she said she saw Madeline that day at noon. So we got conflicting. But later in that same arrest record, per the police, Diana changes her story and said she last saw her on November 23rd at 10 p.m. instead. Now, November 23rd, 2022, Madeline last seen Diane, which is her mother, claims later in the same arrest record, she actually saw Madeline at home that day around 10 p.m. when she went to bed. Now, she done changed her story 2 to 3 times. Diana told police later her and her stepfather, Christopher, fought that evening. Now, this is what's strange, ladies and gentlemen. This is where I have a problem. On November 23rd, Christopher, in the arrest records, later revealed they did not know this at the time, but it revealed in the arrest records that he claims that he drove to Michigan. Remember you all picking up out of state? Okay, now keep this in mind, ladies and gentlemen. He drove to Michigan this night to pick up items. What do you mean, items? In the same records, he told police he hadn't seen Madeline for a week prior. Excuse me. You have not seen a child prior to this. Now, I've got some issues with that statement. So now,
And you
November
didn't.
24th, 2022, when did the stepfather leave? Now, Diana tells the police in the same arrest records that Christopher actually left early on November 24th, not on November 23rd, as he stated. So now they already got him with the wrong dates. They're telling on each other. They don't know because they don't have the same story, because they didn't have a chance to, hey, we need to get our story together, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to say we're going to agree on. You see what I'm saying? You see where we're going with this?
Yeah.
So on November 26th, the stepfather returns. So now we're talking 2 to 3 days difference. Now, this is where you're all picking up on some stuff. Christopher says he returns this evening and asks Diane, which is the mother, where's Madeline? Diane's like, well, I don't know where she's at. Well, Christopher said this is when he told authorities that he didn't know where Madeline was at either. So they both reportedly accuse each other of haggling Madeline. Well, I don't know. She's hiding. Well, I don't know. He's hiding her. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. We're not freaking kids here. It's her fault. No, it's his fault. My fault. No, really? Now, back in those days, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, this is where we get the phone book out and the slapjack. We'll leave that at that. They both accuse each other of hiding Madeline. Neither reports her missing at this time. This is November 26th. Neither of them reported her missing at this time, and Christopher tells authorities he asked Diane how many times Madeline was over the following weeks, but neither she still knew where she was. Now, December 12th, 2022, SRO, the school resource officer, does a home visit. The Bailey Middle School resource officer, Mr. Officer Noble, and Mrs. Dean Lampkin reportedly visits the home of Madeline because she has been truant since November 21st, and no one answers the door. Now, we don't know if they're home. We don't know if they're looking out the blinds like, oh, well, hell with that. We're not answering the door. We don't know. So we're going to leave it at that. But they follow protocol. They leave a truancy packet at the door. That's what they're supposed to do. Now, when somebody leaves a truancy packet at the door, there are instructions on what you're supposed to do. And the first thing you're supposed to do, you're immediately supposed to contact the person that paid to visit that home. Am I right, ladies and gentlemen?
Mm-hmm.
I am right.
Yes.
Well, that did not happen. So 2 days have gone by. So on December 14th, the 6th grade school counselor calls Diane, and that's Madeline's mother, to meet about Madeline's issues. The counselor told police that she would bring, Diane said, oh, I will bring Madeline to school tomorrow. That will be the 15th, and we'll discuss her truancy. I'll bring Madeline with me, and we'll get all this figured out. So December 15th, Diane, which is Madeline's mother, arrives at the school without Madeline. So the 6th grade counselor calls the school resource officer, the popo, the police, like, hey, you better get down in the office because this girl is not with the mother. Something's wrong. So the officer comes in and, oh, my daughter's missing. Help me. Now, what's wrong with this, ladies and gentlemen? So at this point, the mother reports the daughter's missing. Now she says the last time she thinks she saw Madison was probably missing on November 23rd around 10 p.m. But now, remember, during the arrest records, she can't get her dates and times right because she's fumbling and thumbling because she had no idea that this crap was going to unfold this fast on her. So on December 15th, the same day, detectives visit the home where they discovered, now listen to this. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now, if anybody out here has got a law degree or prior law enforcement wants to help me understand this part, chime in, ladies and gentlemen, because I want to understand this because my law enforcement experience, I cannot comprehend this part. So December 15, 2022, detectives visit the home. This is where they discover part of the kitchen is blocked off with plywood. Christopher, the stepdad, tells the detectives, well, I'm building a separate apartment per. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when somebody says per court documents, that is public records. Now, ladies and gentlemen, beyond a reasonable doubt, I was not able to find any per court documents that states that a judge or any court is going to tell you to build an apartment inside of a home. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a domestic dispute and you have an EPO or protective order against somebody, one of you all has to vacate that premises. I don't care who it is. Somebody's going to have to leave regardless. Nobody in the right mind is going to tell you, I'm sorry, you're just going to have to stay in one part of the home and just build a wall up. That's not how it works. Ladies and gentlemen, when I went to domestics, unfortunately, we all, and everybody's listening to this can testify, if it was not physical and it was a verbal and they've been drinking and they cannot leave or nobody come pick them up, you all separate. If we have to come back, either one or both of your all's butts are going to jail. Do you understand me? But here's the liability of it these days, ladies and gentlemen. If we leave and somebody ends up getting murdered, guess who's responsible? We are. So we're going to take precautions and get them separated or segregated. Now, who in the right mind? Somebody show me documentations and show me where some judge told Christopher to put up plywood and build an apartment in the kitchen. Does that make sense to you all?
No.
I'm sorry,
never,
that's not happening.
No,
I was a paralegal.
I've never heard that, ladies and
happening.
gentlemen. That's right. I've never heard that. But
sounds like they're trying to hide some cooking by the looks of it.
Well, now, you know what? Now, he did make that statement to the police, so the police will have to document that and put that in their report. So I'm glad they did, because that's a bunch of baloney. Now, if somebody wants to show me that in writing and a judge stamp and document it in a file, then I'll eat it. So show that to me. So the kitchen's blocked off with plywood. So a search warrant is executed to search other areas of the home. Now, I actually had
you'd
on
have
the
to have a
first show,
separate area.
right. So I actually had pictures of the police reports on the first show, and which are public record, which I said in the beginning of the show before y'all came on. Anybody can get them. You just got to go down and fill out the paperwork. Hell, the media had them. They were like dingling them on the media. Hello, I got the reports. But people that are not aware, there are information on there that could hurt the case. So what they do is they redact or retract information, and they are blacked out like government information. They take a black marker and black it out, or they put a black box over it, but it's still public information. You can still get it. So December 16th, the FBI was brought in to help. As investigators returned to the home to continue executing a search warrant, the FBI confirms they were helping with the investigation of Madeline's disappearance. Inside the home, police finds the girl's backpack and some clothes that are missing. On December 17th, the mother stepfather is arrested. Now, this is where Christopher and Diane is arrested later that day, but they are arrested on only per the charges that were charged because they failed to report her missing per the court documents that I've saw. December 19th, Christopher appears in court. His bond was increased to $200,000. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen. This is where you're all picking up. December 19th, a lake is searched. The search for Madeline expands to a lake area that includes Lake Cornelius. December 20th, Diane makes her first appearance in court before a judge, and her bonds increased to $250,000. December 20th, new documents revealed. A new court document reveals new conflicting details in the investigation include what happened leading up to Banlon's disappearance and how she eventually reported missing. So now everything's starting to unveil because they didn't know what was going on. Now they're finding out that she was missing for all these weeks, that nobody knew, and now they're finding out that, wait a minute, you're telling me what? So now all this stuff's starting to add up. On the 21st, they involved dozens of investigators to go back to the house, the 11-year-old Madeleine's, and they stayed there for hours. And the police left the house with at least one bin of evidence. Now, I had the actual report of the subpoena of the search warrant on the first show, and they showed what they left with. But everything that they had left with in that bit of evidence was marked out in black, so we don't know what items was recovered because it's an open investigation. So we don't know. December 22nd, now check this out. And then this is where I got fired up. The family issues a statement through the PD department thanking the community for support. This is something that no child or family should ever have to endure, the statement says. Is somebody on that pipe puffing on it? So December 23rd, the FBI releases new photos of Madeline, hopefully to spark some, hey, have you seen this child? In one of the photos, Madeline was seen with a horse during a parent horseback lesson. And the other, she's shown on a beach, which we've shown on the show recently today. It said Madeline loves horses. The FBI also tweeted, you can see the pure joy she feels when she takes her plastic ponies to the beach, and she enjoys riding the real ponies named Renee. On December 28, 2022, Madeline's mom, stepfather offers to surrender their passports. What do you mean offers to surrenders? No, they did not offer. They were ordered
They didn't have
to.
anything.
Because they were you're a flight risk. You telling me? Anyway. So on December 30th, another search warrant was executed. The Madeline's home, still not available for public view. The warrant could give more insight into what actually police knows, but they're keeping the details from the public to protect the investigation. That is normal. That happens. On January 10th, 2023, search warrants were unsealed. Search warrants connected to the disappearance of Madeline, 11-year-old from North Carolina, has not been seen since November 2022, were unsealed for the first time on January 10th. To her family's home and reviewed the cell phone records. Somebody picked up on this, a few of you all, from both of Madeline's mother, her stepfather, and these warrants gave more information on the timeline of this investigation, the insight the police were looking for. They searched Madeline's house. Now listen to this. As suspected, these portions of these documents were redacted and there's not a clear picture of everything the investigators took from their searches. Forensic psychologist offers insights. Diane and Christopher has been in custody for over a month at this point. The Charlotte area forensic psychologist says it's very likely taking a toll as investigators are still working to get more information from them, especially on what happened in 3 weeks that Madeline was not reported missing. Initially, parents, and this is where I got fired up on the last show, and everybody thought I was going to have a stroke. The forensic psychologist made this statement, North Carolina. This is the statement that this psychologist stated. Well, initially, here.
Let me do it right. Initially, parents may go through a denial state. That sometimes that lease along, the PSD said, you may consider the parent may be experiencing some embarrassment, some shame, maybe due to guilt. But there may be situations where the parent is experiencing fear, or they're concerned that the Department of Social Services will get involved. and that their family and they may lose custody.
I can give two rats rear end about that. You got a child missing. And you're going to tell me a psychologist has got enough ovaries to make that statement?
Right.
That is a public outcry. I would have had a meltdown on that if I was in that community. On March 8th, 2023, search warrants offer new insights in Madeline's disappearance. Now, listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. According to the new warrants, phone records reviewed that investigators revealed extensive communications on December 2nd with relatives, that the person's phone records revealed multiple calls to phone numbers belonging to unidentified targets to involved ongoing T3 drug, narcotic, trafficking investigations. That's what y'all been picking up on.
Mm-hmm.
Records show investigations twice used canine searches Diane's car in February. On Thursday, February 10th, 2023 at 1350. The canine learned on driver's side door on suspect Diane's car. The canine is trained to learn on any on all narcotics. The dog was alerted on the vehicle on Monday, the 13th of February, when the search warrant for the vehicle was obtained. That was a good, smart move on that department. On April 11th, 2023. Sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, sorry for interrupting. I was just going to ask unidentified targets. For phone records? Unidentified targets.
So they are not going to tell you. They're talking about John Smith that's allegedly carrying 35 pounds a kilo across state lines from, you know what I'm saying? So that's why they're calling them unidentified targets.
Oh, okay. So they do know who, but they just don't want us to know.
So they're investigating these.
I feel
other
like it's an
people
acquaintance, and the parents know.
Well, could this be drugs and
SA
and
ST? It could be. It could be.
And just kill two birds with one stone.
It could be. And that's why the police department did the right thing and said, FBI, help me. Because now, once it crossed state lines, what did it become, Angela Ford? It became federal. So, yes. So, and this is what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen. We look at everything, Clayton, as a totality, everything as a whole. And this is where everything comes together as one. So, and this is where I explain to people when we bring things in front of the board, is that we look at things. If we have a yellow Volkswagen and we park it in front of a McDonald's and we put a fire hydrant next to it and we put a McDonald's sign to the rear of it and we all stand in a circle, and I go, Angela, what do you see? Angela goes, I see a yellow Volkswagen, I see the emblem, I see the fire hydrant, but she don't see that McDonald's sign in the rear. But as we go around that circle, everybody's got a different view of that vehicle and a different picture of the surroundings. This is where everybody as a group comes in. This is how we get all of our information. So, and that's how we do our cases, see? So everybody picked up on the case, but just at a different view and a different angle. And that's why I always try to say, if you can hang on to the end, we wrap everything up to where you can hear everybody. That's where you go, well, now that makes sense. Because, you know, with Angela, I'm not trying to pick on Angela. Angela, when she worked for the government, she never had any validation. You know, she would have to pick stuff out of an envelope that was still an envelope, that was still in another envelope underneath somebody's keyboard and go, Angela, do your job. And she would have to go, and there, and away she went. And she didn't know she was right or wrong. But once again, she had to have a percentage of accuracy with the government to maintain what she did. And ladies and gentlemen, this goes to show, once again, everybody is not going to be 100% right. And that's what I try to tell people.
Never,
you know,
never.
Right. And everybody's like, well, since you're a psychic, tell me ABC. That's not how it works, ladies and gentlemen. If that was the case, I'd be a millionaire and none of these people would be on my show. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I mean, I wish it was that easy.
Me too.
But yeah. So everybody on here has been vetted, and there's a process they go through. And but it is interesting because everybody has picked up on elements of the case, elements of the crime. And now, what's very interesting is to see how they're going to use what is brought forward and to investigate this further. That's going to be the interesting part because I try to keep up with the cases that we do cover and see what leads they go to, because a lot of people are like, well, do you contact the FBI?
Yeah.
Do you well, yeah, sometimes I do. If I feel I got enough credible evidence and they don't make us sound like we're cuckoo. Because a lot of departments, if I call them up, I'm like, hey, I'm Grizzly and this is what we do. They're like, do what? No. But they do. Some agencies use people with abilities, but they are called guests. They're called advisors. They are called other names, but they also do it like this. So, okay, Sam, we got credible information. Grizzly used 10 to 15 people. So let's get some cadaver dogs and let's comb this area. That way, if something does happen, we can't say Grizzly and Angela and Clayton and Lala and Kat and Kelly Joe and Craig all led this to this area, because we don't want to bring them into court of law and they'll be like, you did what, Your Honor? And I'm like, oh, come on, what a circus that will be. But what they can do is they could say we had some credible information that's possibly it led us in this direction, and we use cadaver dogs, and unfortunately, that's how we recovered the body. That's how it is done. They use other resources, not just off somebody's information. That's why they have tip lines. That's why they have hotlines. So, and that's why I try to tell people. And there are other agencies out there that we worked on cases where they beg people, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are open to anything. That's how desperate we are. And we're here to listen. So, but I just want to thank everybody for your all's time. I really do. It means a lot to everybody. Hopefully, the information that is brought forward can give the child some rest. It's hard to work on the children aspect of it.
Yes.
When I first went over this case, I got very emotional, especially reading the psychologists and all that other stuff, and the fire pit drove me nuts, and I'm glad the neighbors were nosy enough to be like, oh yeah, they were out back burning crap. Why? A child's missing and they're out there burning furniture and other personal belongings. I mean, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Is that not a sign of guilt? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to paint a picture, but you're painting yourself a picture, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So, but the next case is a worldwide case. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Damn right they are.
The next case is a what? We didn't hear you.
A worldwide case.
Okay.
It's coming out of the UK. And I'm not going to say anything else because y'all don't need to know nothing else. I'll be covering that here in the next week or so. So y'all got a couple of weeks off. And I greatly appreciate your all's time. I really do. But y'all have any questions before I let everybody go?
Thank you.
Well, I really appreciate you all. Thank you all very much.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, y'all can say anything y'all want.
I was wondering if maybe you could give us a map of an area that people think she might be. Maybe we could hone in on a part and see what we get of where her body is.
Here's the problem. They don't know anything. What's very interesting is that where you all actually picked up on is where they searched. Now, the problem is that the stepfather admitted that he drove to Michigan. and this is where y'all picked up state lines and the body, and it wasn't making any sense to you guys. So now they searched an area of water close to the house, and now we know with the torso killer and other serial killers, and ladies and gentlemen, I know this is kind of harsh talking like this, but we know, and we're talking about statistics, that we know that we can dispose of human remains all along a route, not just in one spot. So,
Right.
and there's a lot of possibilities that that people can hide bodies, unfortunately. So, in North Carolina, Michigan, that's a good little lick. Look it up on the map, and we don't know which route he took. So, so it that kind of really opens up another can of worms. So, I don't know. I mean, that is a good
Grizzy,
question. Yes.
Grizzy, sorry for
Uh-huh.
interrupting.
No,
Is
you're
there a
fine.
cemetery in that same, like, you know how everyone's picking up the bulrushes, or what your name is for it? I'm not, those plants.
Cattails.
Yeah,
Cattails.
yeah, yeah. I'm just wondering if there's a cemetery there.
Maybe
So
we could
that I
do
don't
like
know.
Google
I'm gonna have to
Maps.
check Google Maps.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
have a look
like
at it.
on the house, and then maybe spread it out a little bit and see, maybe
Yeah.
what we can pick up on.
Yeah. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that would actually be a good idea.
It's on
Yeah.
state line.
But
So
I believe
anywhere
it's
on that state line of Michigan.
I believe that it's in the same
So would you?
state.
Yeah, same. I felt it was quite kind of close.
I think it's in the same state where she's from.
So you
I got
think that's
stuck
where she's
because I had no
located?
movement, from the second stage. There was just no movement. It was like someone had changed her identity, picked her up, took her off somewhere else, and disappeared. In that sense, like
Well, that's when they threw the body away.
yeah, like she became a Jane Doe.
Jane Doe, unknown.
Like, I feel there's dirty business going on to protect what I think is possibly their cooking pills.
Oh, I agree with you. I think
And
the
then
parents know a lot more.
Yeah, and then if they just if they just dumped her and left the poor little darling in the car, someone came and cleaned up, it infuriates me. Oh boy, this one really made me wild. Not that, like, the emotion and everything was bad enough, but there's the dirt in it of what they've done, or what I think they've done, is really low.
And it should, because as mediums, we're also empaths. We can
Yeah.
feel, we can,
Yeah.
and it should. I feel like that plywood they put up, I feel like that's a whole different story, because I feel like
You
they
damn right, it's a
thought-
different story.
Yeah.
I feel like they thought they were above the law, and that they
Yep.
could say, you know what, this is one address, this is another household.
Yeah.
You cannot search this side at all. This has nothing
Well,
to do with anything.
Which makes it dirty.
The good
dirty.
thing is
That's
the
what they
way
tried.
that the good thing is the way that the search warrant is written is now, unless they change it, I know it's probably gotten a lot better. Not only we had to take pictures of the house, of the pictures of the front of the house, the sides of the house, and we had to be very descriptive of the colors and so forth of the house, and the contents of what we're going to look at in any outbuildings and everything else on the property. And so this way, when we got there, there was nothing that they could say that's not in the warrant.
Right.
So it's very, very thoroughly covered, and especially these days with judges, because once you have a template used for a search warrant and it's been approved, basically, and a lot of law enforcement officers can tell you, you just change, the wording around most of it, because before we didn't have to have search warrants for telephones, and we used to be able to go through your phones no problem. And until they passed and enacted that law, we had to have search warrants, and you ain't getting your phone back until I get my search warrant. So we would put it in evidence.
They make it
until we
very
got
hard
those
on the
warrants.
police.
So yeah.
And like, if they're cooking in that house, or they were cooking in that house, the car shows up with a hit with drugs. The house comes up back. if they were cooking in that house and that somebody was connected and nobody wanted the connections to come out because of all the family connections, the connections to the car, all the rest of it, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, my battery's dying.
Lola had a number. You might have got picked up on a road, hon.
Yeah, like, was it 23?
That was
I
me.
think she
Yeah.
said 20. Was it
That
20? Yeah,
might be a
somebody said
road.
23. Yeah.
That was me.
Yeah.
I
So,
felt like
and
that was an
somebody,
age, but I don't know. That could be anything. That's just the first thing that popped
well,
up.
now don't discount that out
You never
because
know.
on one of the shows, somebody picked up on a number and somebody picked up, it was a house number. Somebody picked up on another number. It was a state road and
Yeah,
it was
461.
wild because it intersected both of them. So, yes.
Oh, wow.
So, and this is where I'm saying, you know, whether it doesn't make sense to you at the time, I would still throw it out there because, you know, we don't know what the police knows because, of course, they're not going to release everything, right? So, because they're not going to, you know, hence you know, taint the investigation any way possible. And that's why I tell people you can still go down there and get the police report. You're just not going to get all everything in there that the officers wrote or what they, you know, obtained in the search warrant and all that. I mean, it's still public record because I had it on the first show and I put it up on the big screen over here and showed it up where everybody could see it and read it as well.
Is it,
But go ahead.
sorry, is it possible to check out, like, this sounds horrible, morgues for any deaths of the similar age in that similar period?
So what's supposed to happen, I don't know how big Cornelius is in North Carolina. That's one thing I didn't check out. A lot of agencies, and I don't mean to keep throwing Angela out there. Angela's got a lot of experience with dealing with agencies and so forth. It's hard with other agencies to talk to other agencies, and this is why people that are involved with crime get away with crime for so long, because either they make a mistake, right, and they admit, or they have the same motto and they're
Hello.
like cat or yeah and they're like cat, did you just not, you know, and you're 50 miles away, did you just not have a murder like 5 months ago and this happened and you got these laser marks and these zip ties were used and they were found laying in this position and this way facing north? And you're like, yeah, why? And you're like, oh, we just got two of them and we think we may have a suspect in custody. You're like, what? And now we start to collaborate, right?
Yeah.
And then the scope opens up. So this is where, and this is where a lot of people to where, oh, I'm getting too hot in this area, so I'm going to lay low and I'm going to move. And this is where let's use Jack the Ripper. You know, everybody's like, well, Jack the Ripper quit. No, he didn't. I think he moved to America, and I think he opened up shop in Chicago and opened up that hotel, whatever the hotel was called, where you checked in, never left. Uh,
Right.
you know, I think that's who it was because all the people they had as suspects never panned out. I think it got too hot and they were too close. And also, you look at statistics when it comes to FBI and local law enforcement in the state, what they report is in crimes, murders, and different types of. When we say ST, we're talking and other types of abuse. We're not allowed to say on one channel, but we're covered on the other channels we broadcast on because we get flagged. Um, but if you look at that and we take that and we put that into it, you know, what departments track that with others, right? So if, and this is where, once again, what's that real famous case with the college murders? Man, we covered that one too. Remember that one? Where the guy ends up killing 4 or 5 college kids in that condo,
Yeah.
and they said that he was alone. I'm like, no, he wasn't.
No,
And
he
that was
had
his,
another person.
but yeah, that was not his first time either. And lo and behold, he tried to get a job on the PD, and then they found out that he actually did this prior in another state. I think it was Wyoming, and where his parents lived. And allegedly, he actually killed before. And once again, it got too hot, so he moved, and he did it again. And somehow it leaked out. I don't know if he got drunk at a bar and bragged, but once again, and this is how they get caught, because they make mistakes. So, and it's sad, and that's why a lot of these murders and unsolved crimes go by the wayside, because there's not that entanglement where we can tie these cases together, unless they say, yes, I did do it. Because we have a lot of people in custody right now, it's in prison, and they're sitting there thinking, yeah, I'm in here for life. Screw you. You don't need to know about the other 35 I've done, because what's it going to matter to me? You're not going to do anything else to me, right? Or you only got me on one and I got a chance to grow in 8 years. I'm not going to tell you about the other 6 I did and be on the death row. I'm not telling you that because you have no idea. So why am I going to tell you? So, and that's the problem. So, but yeah. Yeah, but no, y'all did a really good job, and I'm thankful for everything. So yeah.
Jeremy asked an interesting question. Do we know where the real father is? Is anything mentioned about him?
No, we do not. And just like the last case we covered, we do not think we allegedly think the real father was involved on the last case we did. That stepped in on the missing person and took out the. Let me redact that. We think that the guy that was married to the wife found out that it was not his child, and the real father of the child came in and was all a setup. And we remember what state that was in, and nobody even questioned that or did a DNA test. And the grandmother's like, here's $250,000. I want my grandson to come home. And everybody knows where the body's at because everybody said the same thing. It was over the cliff when they dumped them, and unfortunately, and you remember that one? Yeah. And everybody was straight across the board on that case with everything. And it just goes to show, it depends on department resources. It depends on, how many officers, and I hate to say it too, and no disrespect to law enforcement agencies out there, egos,
Oh, yes.
You got to take your ego out of it. That's why there's FBI there. They got the resources, they got the funds, they got the ATF. We just worked on a case where they refused to contact the state police, and they got one person working on the case, and it's 2 years old. And then it's like, and this is how easy it is, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Angela, this is State Police Grizzly. You got a code case down there. I'm bored. You want some help? Well, sure, Grizzly. That's all it takes, ladies and gentlemen. That's it.
This one's similar in that there's no body, yet the feds came in quickly as well.
They asked for help.
Oh, okay. Unlike the other one.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
plus it crossed state lines too, because when the father was like, yeah, I drove to Michigan, we got in a fight. They're like, oh. So yeah, absolutely.
Ding, ding, ding.
I think the mother will come clean. I do. I think maybe I'm going on maternal instincts because I'm a mom of, a lot. But, I do think by the look of her on that mugshot, by the look of him, he is very arrogant and doesn't think he'll ever get caught. But I feel like
that too.
Will.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, somebody said they got a tattoo.
Yeah. He thinks he's smart, but he's not that smart.
Did anyone pick up that weird haircut?
That haircut is common here in America. Kat.
Oh, is it like the V
shape in the back? Yeah.
That's a man haircut.
Is there any sort of group, or is it like a?
No, it's just a normal haircut. It's either a block, a circle, or a V.
Or a bike gang.
Yeah.
I've never seen that happen to me before. Like, as soon as I touched her, this mannequin thing came up and started twisting slowly to show me this haircut. It was so weird.
Yeah, it's symbolic.
Christy, I've got to sign off. I've got a
Yeah,
call.
no, that's fine. Thank you, Angela.
Thank
No,
you. It was
absolutely.
nice meeting
Absolutely.
everybody.
Oh, you're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
But no,
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yolanda, what you referring to? The book. The book. She keeps saying, what's the book called, boys? So tell me what the book is, and we'll sign off here.
Is that your book?
The book I'm working on, or is she referring to another book?
I don't know. I didn't see. Where is it?
No, I missed that too.
It's in the comments.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, it's in see, that's one thing I'm trying to fight with StreamYard, is to where you all can comment with them. So if it's talking with Craig, oh, okay, they're okay. It's down. So the book I'm writing about with the psychic, it's called Whispers of the Mind, A Psychic's Journey.
Oh,
That's what I've been
yeah.
working on.
I like the
and that's
name.
going to be coming out. Yeah,
It's
that'll
catchy,
be coming
too.
out, I
Yeah,
think,
it's good.
in
I like it.
October or November.
Yeah.
So, and that's the one Kelly Joe told me I was going to be writing, which I thought she was like,
Yes. I remember that
yes.
too.
She's good.
So, but yeah, I adore each and every one of y'all about. So yeah, about the guy Grizz was talking about. I talked about it so much, so I don't remember. Oh,
Bless you
Holmes,
for that.
Jack the Ripper. Oh no, the hotel. I can't remember the hotel.
I
He
don't
built it in
remember the hotel's
Chicago,
name either. There really was one.
but he had each room set up differently, and they would die differently. They would die with gas, poison, all. Yeah, once you check in, you never checked out. So yes. But no, I just want to thank you all for your time,
Thank
and
you.
I'll keep you posted on the next case. The next case is not a child. I'll leave it at that, because I want to never give everybody a break on a child. So yeah,
Oh, is it
Thank
good?
you. Yeah,
but
we need
I want to
that.
thank everybody.
Bless
All right.
you.
Have a good night, all.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
God bless
All
you
right.
all.
See you
Bye.
later, Grizzy.
From coast to coast and around the world. You all have a good one. God bless, guys. Take
Bye.
care.
Bless.
Bye bye.
Bye, everyone. See you later, Grizzy.
It's a grizzly.
Should we get out of here?
No. We're gonna watch and listen.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, shit, should we run?
No.
Action.
It's a grizzly.
Oh, should we run?
Okay. It's a grizzly.
Are you sure it's not a chipmunk? Action. No, I'm out of here. Action.
It's a grizzly.
I'm out of here.
Huh. Maybe it is a chipmunk. Shh. It's a grizzly.
Are we gonna die?
I don't know. We're just gonna sit here and listen and watch.
Let's get out of here, maybe.
Fall!